Now I've got the lid to fit onto the base beautifully. There's no movement in there. I'll show you in another video how I do that, but there's a really simple technique to get lids to fit perfectly every time. It's a very simple technique, another video, so stay tuned for that one. I'll take this, or both of those out, and I'll take the chuck off. And I'm going to go back to my spur drive. Now I'll put the spur drive back in, and I'll fit this back into the existing hole. Remember at the start of the video I said that these holes are going to be important. I've got to get that out of the way. I've got to bring my sphere cutter back up into position. I might just take that out right now. So I'll bring the base of the sphere cutter up, and I'll bring the tailstock up. So that's why, you can see why it was important to have those two centre marks. And I've also matched up my figuring in the wood. It's really obvious. So I've got that spinning nice and true. I've got my figuring matched up, and now I can actually turn the outside. Okay, turning the outside is going to be fairly straightforward. I know where my equator is. That's that line there. And it's important to know that, because I'll get my centre of my sphere jig lined up with that line, and I'll start shaping it. Now I will shape to a certain diameter. Now remember, my outside diameter is 80 millimeters. So the outside diameter 80 millimeters, and if I just keep a check on getting that diameter right, then the wall thickness throughout will be spot on. It'll be 5 millimeter wall thickness throughout. Now I'll get that all set up now. I'll get this out of the way, and I'll get my sphere jig back into place. Alright, this is my setup. I have taken a bit of time getting this organised, but I did have a problem with the banjo being in position here, and I couldn't get this sphere cutter close enough to get it centred on my equator here. So I did have to put my spur drive, my stem centre, in this chuck. So that's what that's all about. I suppose if I was doing it again, I would need to have a longer piece of timber for my base, or whichever end goes in my headstock end. Here's my sphere cutter. I've used the needle to find my centre, to line it up with my equator here. Very important, so it's lined up perfectly with that. Here's the tool itself, the tool post. The tool is on an angle to my holder here, so I can get right down to here. So what I'm going to do is work on this side first, and then I'll change the tool around to angle it the other way, so I can work on that. So I've backed everything off so I can get into that area there and get into this section here. So off we go. I'll need to back it off even a bit more so I can do that first cut. And there we have it. Okay, so I can start winding that in. Now this I could bring my banjo and my tool rest over and take a lot of this off with just traditional tools. Better get that off as well, and that'll save a bit of time. I'm going to tighten up my quill. It looks like it's wobbling around a bit, and there's obviously quite a bit I need to take off. There's quite a bit of meat in here, so we'll just continue on like this. I'm going to speed the lathe up. Everything cuts a bit better normally when everything cuts better when we're going fast. Flat chat. There we go. Now I've done quite a bit here. I've done most of the shaping there. Well, I've got it to a sphere and I'm starting to shape this here. I've also had to undo my tool post and move it in. That doesn't affect anything. What affects everything is that this section of the sphere cutter here, don't ever move that. You can move the tool post in and out, and you can change the angle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock off the holder with that lever there, and I'm going to move the what am I going to do? I'm going to actually move it around more like that. So I've moved the tool post around to the other angle so I can start working on that. Now if I just undo that, you'll see that there's a lot of meat in here that I need to get rid of. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the sphere cutter, is I'll get no, I'll need my long tool rest in here, and I'll nibble away at that with just a bowl gouge or a spindle gouge, whatever I find first. A spindle gouge is the winner, so I can get rid of a lot of this wood here. That will make the next process a lot quicker. So I get that out of the way, the banjo tool rest out of the way, put the tool rest down there, and I should be able to come around here now. And I'll probably, see I can't quite get around to there, but that's alright. What I need to do pretty soon though is check my diameter, because that's going to be critical. Too much diameter, too big a diameter, more than 80 millimeters and I'll be alright. A little less and I'll get very thin walls. So there's probably a couple of ways I could do this. I simply could back this off and check my diameter that way. So we can take the lid off, and there it is there. So it's looking quite good. But I do want it a bit thinner than that, so I'll put that back together again. I hope I don't get rid of all of this black marking, because that's a key feature of this timber. And back into my centre point, and we can go again. And obviously the other way is to grab some calipers. I've got my Woodfast universal calipers, and I can measure that diameter through my equator, and it is 86 millimeters. So I've got 3 millimeters to take off, or 6 in the diameter, but 3 either side, I suppose. Yep, 86 millimeters. So we can go a little bit thinner there. I might just finish it up there. Now I can turn the lathe off, and I just simply got to position the tool post around the other way so that I can finish this off. Now so long as I just blend this line here into this line here, we should be right. Now it's a matter of making a decision of how narrow we go here and here. We're going to put some finials on there so we can retain a step in there, so we can finish all of this on the lathe. I'm happy with that. Sand this, and then we can part these off. So there it is, the hollow sphere, or the lidded sphere. I haven't quite finished it. A bit of sanding needs to be done, and obviously the finials need to be added on. I'll show you how I do the finials in my next video or another video, but in the meantime that should be enough to get you going, and it certainly helps you work out how to use the Vermec sphere cutter to not only do the outside but also the internal spheres. Safe turning. I'll see you another time.